Hi everyone, this is Andrew. Today I'll be doing my 8th JavaScript tutorial and we'll be continuing with our Pathfinder RPG character generator. So, we've currently done step 1 and step 2. Race took quite a long time to do. I didn't expect it to take that long, so I've learnt my lesson and I'm going to break step 3 class up into a number of tutorials, I think. So let's take a look at our current generator. So we can click a method, a dice rolling method, just say classic. And what we did last time was implement race. So we can select, say, halfling or half orc, select a bonus ability, say charisma. It reflects that in the table up here. And if we have a high intelligence, let's try to roll for that. There we go. We can also select a bonus language. Great. Okay, let's take a look at class. So step 3, pick your class. A character's class represents a profession such as fighter or wizard. If this is a new character, he starts at first level in his chosen class. As he gains experience points for defeating monsters, he goes up in level, granting him new powers and abilities. At first, we're just going to focus on a first level character. Maybe later we can implement leveling up, but at this stage we'll just focus on the first level because, for example here, advancing your character, there's tables to show different types of experience points. There's multi-classing, which allows you to choose different classes. So for class, we'll just focus on these basic 11 classes, so with their names and descriptions, that's easy enough, and favoured class. But first of all, I'd like to just revisit our code and tidy up a few things. Now, can you see here under ability, we've got strength, dex, and so on, but then we've got this odd one here, bonus. We were just using that as kind of a solution to a problem. Maybe we should pull that out into its own constant. And I'll tell you one reason why. If you look down at favoured class, which we'll implement maybe in the next tutorial, it says here, each character begins play with a single favoured class of his choosing. Typically, this is the same class as the one he chooses at first level. Whenever a character gains a level in his favoured class, he receives either a +1 hit point or a +1 skill point. Okay? So those two there could be considered a bonus, couldn't they? So one maybe nice way to handle bonuses is to put them into their own object. So we'll grab that one, do a bit of refactoring to begin with, and we'll make a constant called bonus. Now, what will this be for? This will be for ability, an ability bonus. I think all we need is a description. That's enough, I think, and then we can program this later for each of these. For favoured class, there's +1 hit point or +1 skill rank. So how about we just call that hit point, skill rank, and we can just copy this, I think. +1 hit point, well, it's pretty easy, isn't it? +1 hit point or +1 skill rank. Good. Because we've changed where ability bonus is being, here we go, bonus. Before we had ability.bonus, didn't we? So if we type that in, we'll be able to refactor all those occurrences. Here we go. So instead of wherever we write ability.bonus, we need to change that to bonus.ability. That's it. I'll just copy and paste that, and there's only a few occurrences of it. So half elves, of course. Half orcs, yep, they get to freely choose. Humans, yep, they get to freely choose an ability bonus. And our actual logic. So if the It's not, oh yeah, race.abilities.high, if it equals bonus.ability, then yes, we need to give them an option. And that's it. Let's see if that works. Okay, humans should have a choice. Halflings should not. Half-orcs should. Yep. Half-elves should. Gnomes should not. As well as elves, dwarves. Let's just make sure that it's quickly working. Wisdom, say. Yep. It seems to be working fine. Okay, that's fine. Another thing that I noticed, we've been using title in some of the constants. So go up to the constants. We'll start from the start. Dice. Okay, so ability's fine now. Bonuses are good. Dice. Okay, for example, language. See, we've got title languages and title bonus languages. Maybe we should create a object that's just holds the title, so holds our display text. Pull that out. Racial trait, that's okay. Size is okay, speed is okay. Weapons have a couple of titles there. Just makes it a bit easy to find everything and to update if necessary. Title will equal... Okay, we'll have to obviously rename these a bit, do a bit of refactoring. We'll just call that lang, and this could be lang bonus. These two. How about wep familiar, wep martial. Are there any more? No. Race, they don't have any titles. I think that's it. We'll be using more titles obviously later for various things. Okay, now we'll have to go refactor anywhere that there's word title. We'll have to refactor. Okay, title familiar. That's now, so this is for familiar weapons. There we go. Language title, so that'll be title lang, won't it? Title lang. This is for bonus languages. That's okay, that title there. Title, that's our new title web. I think we've done them all. There was only 4 occurrences, I think. Oh, hang on. Martial weapons. Weapon martial. Yep, looking good. Of course, anytime you do something like this, you need to test it. Just making sure all the titles look okay. So there was weapon titles and language titles, weren't there? Bonus languages looks good. Languages, good. Now something that has weapons, say half-orc. Weapon familiarity and martial weapons looks good. And languages and bonus languages, great. That's probably a good place to commit our work. Remember, you can commit your work anytime you want to. Usually after a single change, you'd commit. So we currently have bonus. We've made a bonus constant, and we've made a title constant and updated appropriately. Created 2 new, we'll call them enums. Created 2 new enums, title and bonus, and refactored accordingly. complete. Another thing I noticed, if you take a look at our generator, can you see that bonus languages? We've got this checkbox set up, haven't we? And it keeps track of how many we've selected so that we can't go over our limit based on our intelligence. So if we were an elf, for example, we should have a 2 limit now. Well, looking at classes, favoured classes specifically, you begin play with a single favoured class, right? But if you remember, in race, here we go, half-elves have a trait called multi-talented, and they choose 2 favoured classes at first level. Meaning that ideally, when it comes to choosing our class, we should have something similar when choosing our favoured class. So mostly it'll just be 1, but occasionally it'll be 2 for half-elves. So we could probably go ahead and do something like that. Now, knowing that, we should simplify this method, make this method more general so that it could handle, I'll show you what I mean. So that was click bonus, there we go, ClickBonusLanguage. Now, of course, we'll keep this method. We don't want to stuff anything up, right? But we'll add another method, which is more general, that we can use again. Okay? So ultimately, what does this do, this ClickBonusLanguage? Well, if you look through it, really all we're doing is we're populating this array, aren't we? Bonus langs equals that. It does some stuff, pushes some... It's just populating our bonus languages array. And at the end, we're showing the class form if required. So let's duplicate that and just put in the thing that we want from this method. So we want bonus languages, don't we? We want bonus languages equals something. Now how about we get that from our new method? We'll call the new method, seeing it's all to do with clicking boxes, we'll say ClickCheckbox. We'll need some parameters. And all of that's just doing the hard work. And then finally we want to show the class form, don't we? Probably can pull that out. And that's pretty much it. As I said, we'll need to pass something definitely. Now let's change this to this new method, ClickCheckbox. So it'll have to return something, won't it? It'll be returning something. Now, we'll want some checkboxes, won't we? So we'll call that checkboxes, CBs, document element. So we'll need this being passed, won't we? What would that be called? The checkbox get elements by name, so it'd be the name of the element, wouldn't it? So we'll go element name, and we'll change that to so we'll copy that because we'll want to put that up here. Element name. Right. So our checkboxes, you could do some checking, you know what I mean by that. You could do some validation to make sure they are indeed checkboxes. But as we're the only ones making this, I'm going to not do that. Okay, now what's next? Loop through and find the total number selected. So total selected, that's still valid. Now this here, the language boxes, so that'd be the CBS, wouldn't it? The checkbox length. Find out whether those checkboxes are checked or not. Total selected, that's still valid. Clear the array. Well, probably no need to do that here, is there? Because the array will be, by calling this, it's going to be returned and overwritten, isn't it? So we don't need to do that. Well, actually, we probably should have a temporary, let's call that, because we are returning something, aren't we? How about we selected, we'll just call it selected, there you go. Initialize an array called selected, that's all the boxes that are selected. That's ultimately what we want to know, isn't it? Yeah. We don't need to clear it because we've initialized it here. Don't allow more languages than int bonus. Okay, so there's going to be some sort of maximum, isn't there? Oop. Language name. Get rid of that for the time being. So there's going to be some sort of maximum. So we'll say max allowed. That's how many checkboxes are they allowed to have clicked at the same time. Max allowed. So don't allow more languages than the int bonus. So this will be the CBs. CBs if it's checked, if any of the checkboxes are checked. Deselect the current box. Now, this is going to be our maximum, isn't it? So if it's over our max allowed, and CB's value equals, okay, we've got a name here too. So we've got max allowed, let's put that in. So that'll be the int bonus for the int mod, sorry. At least for languages. And we need the language name, which we're passing from there. So that's the currently clicked one, isn't it? We're not going to call that language name, that's a bit silly. How about it's the current click, the current name or something. Current name. That's not what I want. Here. Current name. Maybe clicked name. That'll do. Clicked name. Okay, so if the value equals the clicked name, then we want to set it to false if it's over the max allowed, right? Oops, change that to CBs. And then we want to push all our stuff to that selected, this one, to the selected array. We don't need to show the class form, we just need to return the selected CBs. Okay, so we should have, is there any other thing we need? I feel like there's something not going to work here. Hang on, just change that, CBs. I know what I wanted to do. Can you see currently, this here, we're just pushing to the selected array, the name, the value of the checkbox is just the name, isn't it? So for example, it would be draconic. That's what's being pushed. Ideally, we'd like to save the object, wouldn't we? We'd like to save, instead of draconic, we'd like to save language.draconic. Because if we save that, if our variable consists of an array of objects, then we can get everything we need from that. We can get the name, we can get the description. So ideally, that's what we need to get. Well, how about we make a method, get object by name. Now, it'll need a type, won't it, of some type, and it'll need the name, because as the method name suggests, get object by name. So we'll need to pass a type in here. Type of, yeah, just type I think's okay, because we know what that is here, don't we? We know that this will be of type language. And when we get to favorite class, it'll be of type class, or whatever we call class. Right, so let's go ahead and make this. So we'll have a type and a name. Get object by name. Okay. So what do we need? Well, if we have the type, we can get the keys. So we'll just call that keys will equal, remember this method, object.keys. It grabs all the keys of that. We'll have to loop through this object to match up the name with one of them. So for var I equals 0, I is less than the key's length, right? Iterate the I. So increment I. We need to put a condition here, don't we? So if type keys I. Remember, type in this case would be language. So with any of these objects, you can put square brackets around them and put the key in the square brackets to grab that object. So we want the name of that to equal our pass name, don't we? Now, if that's true, we want to return that object as such. Now, if there's nothing in there, if nothing comes through, we'll just return a blank string. And that should be good to go. Okay. Otherwise, add the selection to the array. So we're adding the type now. We could probably verify that. Get object by name, return selected, bonus languages. How about we do just a sanity check, console log bonus langs. Now, because this is an array of objects, isn't it? We can use, at least in Firefox, we can use this toSource method, which will output all the details of that object. Let's try it. We'll need to open up our console. Right, so when we click bonus languages, remember, so let's get a higher intelligence. There we go, +3. Let's have +4. So Abyssal, there we go. So inside our bonus langs object, we've put the entire, in our bonus langs array, we've put the object, haven't we? So we've got its name and description. Great. Goblin, yep, it adds that to the array. Ignan and Orc, say. So finally we get an array of Abyssal, Goblin, Ignan, and Orc. Exactly what we wanted. Okay, go ahead and delete that console line. We don't need that anymore. And so that we have something to actually show for our tutorial today, because we've only been doing behind the scenes sort of work, haven't we? How about we go ahead and implement the names and descriptions of the classes and output the radio buttons. So first we'll need to create an object, won't we? Now, what will we call that object? Class is what they call it in the book, isn't it? But I think class might be a reserved word, or class is often a reserved word, so it's probably not ideal to have a constant called class. So if you look under getting started here and look at the definition of class, classes represent chosen professions taken by characters and some other creatures. Classes give a host of bonuses and allow characters to take actions that they otherwise could not. Yep. As a creature gains level in a given class, it gains new, more powerful abilities. Most PCs gain levels in the core classes or prestige classes, since these are the most powerful. So how about we just name these classes that we're looking at core classes. Core class. So just as we've done for other, for example, charisma here, we're going to have a name and description, aren't we? So I'll just do one, and then we can go off and do, yeah, we'll have to put the title of it first, won't we? It's a barbarian. Barbarian. Name and description. Well, barbarian. Just copy and paste what they have in the book. The barbarian is a brutal berserker from beyond the edge of civilized lands. Nice. There we go. And how about you go off and do the rest of them, as will I. and I will see you soon. There we go. You should have Barbarian, Bard, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Monk, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer, and Wizard. Next, we need to create our radio buttons, don't we? So down to our HTML. It's going to be very similar to race, isn't it? The way we've selected race here. Just grab one of them. Actually, we'll also want a description, won't we? Let's paste it in there. Type equals radio, name equals, we'll call it core class. Do we need a, well, the idea was so that we could select a default, which we will do probably. On click, set class. There's no need to write core class there because it was only because the single word class was causing an issue. Set class, and we'll have core class Barbarian. Span, we'll call it Barbarian name. That should be all we need. Yep. Right, again, go off and copy and paste that and put in all the races for 11 times, I believe it is. See you soon. Okay, there we go. You should have 11 radio buttons. Now, I was just doing a bit of reading and I decided to select Fighter as the default. You don't have to select the default, but the reason I did that was because if you look at all these other classes like Barbarian and so on, they've got sort of restrictions, or possibly they've got restrictions. For example, a Bard casts spells, a Cleric casts spells, a Druid casts spells. Now a Fighter, they don't cast spells. There's kind of a standard class that, you know, just pick up a weapon and attack with it. So almost every single class, sorry, every single race and ability score set can be a Fighter. So I've put that as our default. Whether that's a good option or not, I don't know, but that's fine, I think. So we've identified that with an ID. Now we have to go implement this set class. So in similar way that we've done with race, set race. Basically we want this, don't we? We just want to set the description. So we'll go up and set class, set dice, there we go. Set class, and we'll have a core class, won't we? We'll make a global variable called core class. Again, we're not going to go call it class. That's going to cause issues. So that's referring, this one here is referring to the argument, the parameter, and this will refer to our global. Okie dokie. How about defaults? Set class. Well, let's just see if that works for beginners. Right, we need to populate the names, don't we? Because we've got those span elements, but not. So I think that we do that in load page, don't we? Load page, yep, so set ability names, set race names, similar sort of way. We're going to be setting class names. So we'll get Barbarian name equals core class Barbarian name. Just test that, make sure it works. Yep, there it is. That's working okay. So you can go ahead and do that 11 times for the other races. Okay, I'll see you very soon. Right, there they are, all 11 of them. Next, so we're setting the class names. Now we want to set up the... we can test that if you like. There they are. Now there's no default set, is there? So we need to set a default. Where would that occur? It'd probably happen show class. In this show class if needed. Only if it's visible we'd like to set the default, wouldn't we? Show the class form. See that we've got this bonus OK and language OK? That determines whether it's visible, doesn't it? So let's make a variable. Visible will equal this. Now show the class form and set fighter as the default class. So if it's visible, there's no need to do it when it's hiding it, is there? Set class. Now it takes a core class, so we'll core class fighter, and we need to set the radio button, don't we? So document get element by ID. We called it radio fighter. Now we'll set its checked equals true. Let's give that a go. I'm just trying to roll without getting an intelligence. There we go. Halfling. A halfling fighter. Are we not setting our description? I see. Class description. Equals core class dot description. Hopefully that'll be fine. Halfling. It's not showing, is it? Oh, maybe I didn't update it. Down here. Ah, yes. Class description. Give that a go. Halfling. There we go. Fighter, brave and stalwart. This fighter is the fighter is a master of all manner of arms and armor. Druids, bard. Yeah, you can go ahead and read all that and enjoy the flavor text. Excellent. And that'll do us for this tutorial. Next time we'll implement favored class. Okay, see you then.